Welcome out to this episode of Escape Pod. I'm David Anthony along with Tony Brown. Who's drinking? Always. But it wasn't water this time. What are you drinking?
No, it was a good fat tire.
A fat tire. But who brought you that fat tire?
Dave Snyder.
Dave Snyder.
Hey, fat tire.
Hey. Exactly. Dave Snyder, thank you so much for being back on our podcast.
Hey, it's good to be back. It was fun the first time around.
And first time in studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So see, we aren't
in the secret underground zombie-proof location.
Exactly. The bunker, thousands of feet down.
And I may talk this time.
There.
I may not just sit here and listen to stories.
Well, let's hope you do, dog. I think you, I mean, like I said, Dave's a great guy, so you nothing to be afraid of, right, Dave?
I'm always scared because I'm in a locked door room with you.
Don't be. It hurts, Tony. It hurts real bad.
I know. That's why I'm scared.
All right, then. So, Dave, how you been?
Good. It's been a busy year. Let's see. We last talked on the show
2015.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on the first of the Netflix 4-picture God knows why Adam Sandler deal, which was called Ridiculous Six, with a bunch of comedians and a bunch of funny people and a bunch of
non-actors.
It was what it was. Cold as hell in New Mexico.
Yep.
And it's all a blur since then. I don't know what the hell I've worked on.
This is going to be a great interview.
Right?
And look forward to it all the way. All right, well, thanks for being here, Dave. I appreciate you coming in. Now, Dave's in town for the holidays and was nice enough to visit with us. Just take a little time out.
Well, you guys were kind enough to have me.
Well, it's our pleasure, man. It really
on this
is.
New Year's Day.
Yeah. This will be airing New Year's Day. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's right. Exactly. Oh, goodness. So after that movie wrapped up, what did you have lined up?
2015. Gosh.
And I got his IMDb page queued up there for you too.
Yeah,
but
the
you
cheat
know
sheet
what?
might help.
But you know what? he hasn't updated a whole lot because sometimes you can't. I understand that certain things.
Some things I've tried to update or correct. A lot of times the producers update. They send in the credits to IMDb and they just copy it down.
Nice.
But a lot of times when you work on television, you don't get a credit. I think we talked about this last time. And a lot of what I did this past year, was Westworld.
Oh wow.
Which was pretty cool.
We love Westworld.
Again, another thing I can't talk about because there's a lot of really interesting new stuff coming up this season.
We won't talk about that.
And then had a really fun time working on a kid's show, a Disney show called Walk the Prank, which I had never heard of, but basically they set up really elaborate pranks. It's like one person will contact the show and set up a friend of theirs.
Right.
Tell them what they like, what they are like, what they, and they'll design a really elaborate prank around fooling this person. And a lot of times it might be a zombie that pops out or a little tiny monster or whatever. Mm-hmm. So my friend Jen Aspinall, who started off doing Saturday Night Live way back at the beginning, been in the business forever, amazing. She keys it, or she department heads it, and brought me on for a good portion of that season. And that was great fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah. So was that something you just basically did the makeup effects for that, for the little zombies and stuff?
Pretty much. We had one prank, and these are all on YouTube. So we had one prank where they have these people go to the beach and they say, back in the 40s, an airplane crashed here and has been buried, but we think we finally found it. So they take them around with a metal detector and they find a few bits and pieces. And then finally the guy goes, hey, I think we found the cockpit. And they scrape off the sand and it's a clear window. And the window pops open and this literally shriveled zombie guy comes jumping out on a springboard.
Oh, wow.
And the people are like, bah! And then their friends go, bah! And they go,
So, that's great.
Yeah, it's one of those shows.
It sounds like fun, though.
Yeah, it's good fun.
So have you done any traveling recently? Because I know a lot of times in movies take you to a lot of different locations.
Yeah, I actually got my very first trip to New York City this year to make zombies for a Bud Light commercial.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Other than that, it's been Georgia for some of the Marvel things, and then we do a show called Stand Against Evil. We did our second season of that this
very
summer.
Cool. Love that
The
show.
show's so good.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we get picked up again for next year. I don't know, but that's always a crazy show because we do all kinds of stuff. We shoot 8 episodes in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like out.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, and then the Bud Light one that you did, that was zombies were was that a Nicotero? Did we do any work
It
with
was
him?
through K&B,
Okay.
and Greg Nicotero is the N in K&B.
Right. Yeah.
Howard Berger is the other current owner, which is the
Mm-hmm.
B. It was through them, and they wanted Walking Dead style zombies, but I don't think it was a direct tie-in
Oh, gotcha.
to Walking Dead. I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We shot it like a gas station somewhere in New York, in like Brooklyn, somewhere. So
That's wild. That's wild. Well, you've done a few commercials in your day. We
A
talked
few.
about last time when you did the
Yeah.
the one for Radio Shack years ago.
yeah, the dearly departed Radio Shack.
Yeah, yeah, with the Howie Long spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still love that commercial though. It was really cool. So
Yeah, it was a fun one.
So do you just not watch stuff? Do you do like because
No,
like with
no,
this, I don't
not at all.
I don't ever go back and listen to anything we do because I figure I'm there. I did it.
Oh, I fall asleep. I fall asleep to the one we did a couple of years back. I just put it on. I'm like, oh, that's my voice. So,
because it is so wonderful.
but no, it depends on the project. It's like the Walk the Prank ones. If it's easy enough to go to YouTube and watch them, I'll go check it out just to see how the finished product looks. But I work on a lot of stuff that I'm not really that interested in seeing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Not your taste, not
Yeah.
your kind of movie.
I might see it if I worked on it long enough that I get invited to a screening, like a cast and crew screening.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see it then, and that's a lot of times that's it. You know, there's been a few things that I was really pleased that I got to work on. I've seen more than once, but
Right, right. So I know that we had talked about this the last time, and it was you had mentioned that it was probably and I'm assuming it maybe still be one of your I guess kind of your proudest moments was working on Star Trek with actually doing the makeup on Leonard Nimoy.
yeah, that's the career highlight that won't be
Yeah, it
eclipsed.
won't be topped. Yeah, for real.
I don't see how.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, that's your childhood. That's the kind of shows that we all loved and knew every episode and just loved the actor that played it and just So
Yeah, that's a good one. So I don't
Do you
know.
ever get any time to actually just kind of hang out and talk to the people you really like personally want to talk to, or is it just go with the makeup?
Sometimes it depends on the show. A lot of times I'm what's known as a day player, which means somebody looks at the schedule and they say, "Oh, we need a bald cap on this guy next week. Who can we get?" A lot of makeup artists don't like doing bald caps because they're tricky.
Right.
It's hard to get them to stay on well. There's a lot of problems. So a lot of makeup artists will be like, "Nah, I don't want to do that. That's asking for trouble,"
right.
which means more work for me.
There you go.
So, but on bigger shows, like we did Alita Battle Angel last, it was last late summer and fall because it was during the election. And that was all in Austin because it was Robert Rodriguez's film, and he does everything in Austin. He's got basically his own studio there.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for that. It's amazing.
Yeah, that movie's gonna be awesome.
It looks pretty cool, yeah. And that's not really my type of thing, but I think it looks like it'll make a lot of money, if nothing else.
That's some good sci-fi. I like me some sci-fi.
But on that one, I got super lucky because we had different people in the cast, and a very good makeup artist friend of mine, Sabrina Wilson, had two different ladies who were, shall we say, difficult. Not horrible, but just difficult.
Right.
And I had two guys. One was Ed Skrein, who's the bad guy in Deadpool, the super handsome English guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had him in sort of like a original RoboCop makeup, like if his skin stopped sort of here, and the rest of him, although this was all just gray because Weta's going to replace all that with a robot. Well, you saw in the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
That guy. And we had very similar senses of humor,
Yeah.
and just loved working with him. And then my other actor on that was Christoph Waltz, and kind of got to know him pretty well. And he's just a really amazing guy, amazing in every way.
That's the Academy Award winner, right?
I believe so
Yeah.
for
Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious.
Yeah.
Did he win 2 years in a row?
I know he was nominated for another one, but he may have won another one.
It was
as well.
Inglourious, and then what was the other one? The other Tarantino thing that he was in.
The one with Leonardo DiCaprio. and
Oh yes.
and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Django.
That's
Django.
it.
Yeah, I don't know if he won for both of them, but yeah, he's an amazing guy. Very down to earth, especially for somebody at his status, his level of success.
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah. When you say, and you said in the past, that sometimes there's actors that are just, everybody's human. So I mean, everybody has a bad day, and sometimes there can be an actor that has a bad day, and you just happen to be in the line of fire.
Yeah, you work with them one time, and you hit that bad day, and your opinion is going to be, But that's like anybody in
Right.
life, anybody that we meet. But
How many times I've been a dick to you, and you still come talk to me. Thanks, buddy.
right. Well, I've decided today's the day to get even.
Oh no, Dave's that bastard.
Let's treat him mean.
Let's don't tell that story.
I always got pretty lucky with that, though. Every quote-unquote famous person I've met has been super cool.
Yeah.
So, because I was always scared. Like, I wish I could have got to meet Sir Christopher Lee. I mean, I'm totally obsessed with the man. He's tattooed on my body, but
Yeah.
I never got that lucky. But everybody else I ever wanted to meet was super cool. So I've been lucky because I've heard horror stories about people that run up against somebody and it's their shittiest day, like you said, and so they take it out on the fan, and then their dreams are crushed, and they go home and throw all their DVDs in the trash, and
Turn into that frozen statue from the Norwegian camp in the thing. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I've been super lucky too. I've had a few actors that I don't ever really want to work with again. But I've heard a lot worse than I've ever gotten.
Wow.
Right.
So
yeah. And then there's some that are just the opposite. Like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, yeah, that was Christoph and Ed. They were great on that show.
and that's good. That makes your experience real enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're looking forward to that movie coming out. Trailers are up for it now, and it won't be long before it's out. And
yeah, well, like I said, we made it. We actually made it mostly the year before last, and then we finished it January and February of this year, and then it took all that time for Weta to do all the digital
effects. Yeah.
Almost every character in the film, the lead character, Rosa Salazar, basically was in gray pajamas with little square tracking markers all over, a little helmet on her head that had a camera with a GoPro that looked in her face like this. And she shot every frame of the film like that.
Wow.
Except one day when she showed up to be an extra because she was like, I just want to appear as myself once in this film.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Because they've turned her into a little doll. Her eyes are big.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
wider,
yeah.
and her little mouth and all that stuff.
So with everything going digital like that, with all the digital effects, has that been an impact on you guys that still do physical stuff?
It's been an impact since 1999.
Wow.
Not as much on specifically makeup, but back in the 90s, I used to work on shows like Virus and Species and some of these things where we actually built a physical creature. We built a monster. And sometimes if it was a big ungainly thing, you'd have to hang it from wires to make it work or all kinds of stuff. And now that's very rarely done. They still make the odd monster suit, but most of that producer, I think, just looks at a breakdown and says, no, that's going to be digital. Wow. It's all digital. The new Star Wars movies are actually a very good example of J.J. Abrams likes practical. So a lot of the stuff in the last two movies were actually costumes and makeups on people and suits as opposed to, some guy on a computer doing it a year after the fact.
Now, doesn't some of the computer stuff more costly than some practical, or is it
depends on a lot of factors. I mean, I've heard things like that break down to 1 minute of digital is $10,000 or some number. Wow. But when you're talking about doing it practically, you're talking about having an entire crew of people. Everybody from the guys who move the lights around to the guys doing the sound to the people doing the craft service, the catering, the makeup, the hair, the wardrobe, all those people. If there's any kind of delay, they're all standing around waiting while getting paid.
Right.
That can get expensive really quick. So if you've got a practical effect that the director is not getting what they want out of, you could lose a whole day that you still got to pay all these people for.
Wow.
That's why a producer, because a producer's mindset is, how can I do it the cheapest? How can I stay on schedule? So they say, if this is going to be a really difficult thing to pull off practically, then screw it. We're going to push it to the end of the schedule, and we'll do it digitally.
Right.
And fiscally, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, movies are a business.
Yeah.
And it's people investing a whole lot of money in it, and they want to see that money come back.
Yeah.
But being a person who does practical effects, I like to see as much practical as possible because I think it looks better. It gives the actors something to react to. The interaction with the lighting is better. So yeah, it's an argument that I can easily see both sides of.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think I'm on the fence just because of my age.
Oh, yeah.
I'm young enough to still enjoy all that practical stuff, or old enough, I guess, and then young enough where some of the digital stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but especially in my horror movies, I want to see physical blood squirting out of something.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that weird mirrored blood that, especially in Underworld, I was just like, that blood is so horrible.
And you know, the weird thing is they would actually take like real blood or fake blood or whatever and throw it on a wall or drip it through the air or whatever and shoot that, but then digitally try and stitch it in where it looked like it made sense coming out, and it still looked like crap, even though it's based on the real thing.
Yeah.
It's not just an animator drawing little drops of blood.
Yeah.
You can't beat real blood.
It really can't, so, but he likes a lot of the, the old horror movies, or, I shouldn't say B movies, but movies that aren't necessarily big, huge blockbusters. And you've worked on your share of both.
God, yes, yeah.
B movies, awesome effects, bad acting. That's my favorite movie.
I don't have any problem with the term B movie. It's like, I've done a ton of stuff that are B movies, but they're good. They're entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Now you, when you were here last time, you had, I guess, been helping some guys, working with some guys that were into the, the Call of Cthulhu, the H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
Yeah, and is there anything else?
This is one of their T-shirts.
There you go.
Nice. Dunwich Horror, hell yeah.
Yep, that's one of the. It's one of the stories. I think this might actually be based on a book cover from some time period, because there's a company that does T-shirts that are based on like the first time Frankenstein was released or the Invisible Man. And they'll do them as the book covers.
That's pretty cool. That's
So, yeah.
cool. So what, have you done anything else with them recently or since then, or?
Not recently. They've been concentrating on doing a lot of these audio dramas that are produced as if they were produced during the time period that the story was written. So they'll produce them. They'll sound like a 20s radio show or a 30s radio show.
That's cool.
But there's not a lot visual to go along with that. So they did do one. They put a lot of props in their CDs. Like if there's a map featured in the story, there'll be a map you can unfold and kind of go along, or a newspaper article, whatever. And they wanted a coroner's report for one thing, for this character who dies gruesomely at the end, and they're examining the remains, and they're like, ooh, it's not quite human. So I did a skull for them with some weird little dentures that could come out and different things.
That's cool.
No, I'm trying to get them to do another movie.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, that would be awesome. They could do that.
Yeah.
So, but it's, something that's maybe in the future, hopefully.
I know they want to. It's just a matter of finances and reality. They've done 2 films. Well, they actually did some smaller stuff when they were in college, but 2 like kind of proper films, Call of Cthulhu and Whisper in Darkness. And I know they'd like to do another one, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe we'll do it next year.
GoFundMe, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Well, if it does happen, let us know. We'll do our best to help promote it.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah. That'd be awesome. So, so what else you been working on here? What's that you can talk about? I know I always got to throw that caveat in there because
yeah,
there's a lot of
me
stuff
too.
that's,
and it gets so boring to hear. But I literally every time I do a new job, I sign a stack of paperwork about that thick, and it's W-2s, and it's all the legal crap and the tax crap, but it's also non-disclosure agreements and what they will do to me if I breathe a word of this, that, or the other.
Right.
Having said that, I've been they do a lot of the Marvel projects in Georgia these days. They've got a facility down there, that's Pinewood. So I've been down there a number of times this year for a few different upcoming Marvel things. And I've seen things that would blow people's minds that I can't breathe a word of.
And that's cool. We'll just let their imagination run away with them.
Yeah.
If you think about it real hard, what's some things that are coming up? There we go. So
I tell you what, they'll make far superior additions to that particular franchise than a franchise that I saw in the latest episode of recently.
Now,
I don't even know if we should go here.
The one with E.T. in it.
Yeah, there was a little girl behind him that was like, "Look, Daddy, E.T."
And it was what, Yoda?
It was.
Well, I did hear Yoda's a puppet.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Because as I told you, I think I talked to you the night that I attempted to watch it. I walked out of the film.
You did, and
walked out.
you for the first hour it was Dave venting and ranting, but that's okay because that's what friends are for.
So are you guys
let him talk it out?
So are you guys on the same level of Star Wars love then?
I think so.
Yeah, I would say. I mean,
I'm a little more.
Or was yours more of a professional, like, oh, screw this shit?
No, it's a little bit of everything. But for me, Star Wars is the movie that when I saw it and walked out of the theater, I said, that's what I want to do for a living. And at the time, I thought it was doing the spaceships. Then I thought maybe it was stop motion. Finally, it came down to makeup. But it's like Star Wars was really the one that, for me, triggered everything. So to see this latest movie, and I've heard discussion about, well, the director wanted to do things differently and mix up expectations and this and that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
What pissed me off about the movie was the stupid crap. The communication between the rebels and the bad guy. Is this thing on? Yo mama. And this and that. I'm like, okay, well, there's one. I'll let that slide.
Yeah.
And then you've got Luke milking this whale thing. Okay, well, that's the dumbest, weirdest, I don't know who thought that was a good idea thing. But it just compounded.
Yeah.
And it compounded. And I tried to be patient. And I turned to my buddy Vince, who I went to see it with. And 5 minutes in, I looked at him and I said, well, that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And then about 10 minutes in, I looked at him and I was like, this is not very good.
Yeah.
And about another 20 minutes after that, I was like, dude, this sucks. And when they got to the point where Rey and Kylo are force texting or whatever,
Skyping,
and she's like, can you put a shirt on? I looked at Vince and I said, dude, let's get out of here. I was like, screw these guys.
Yeah. And it's not for everyone. Yeah. I'll give you that. There's
Give me another beer.
So, and there's nothing I can say or do to be like, to want to change. And I don't want to change your mind. It's everybody's going to interpret the way they interpret it, and it's the way it is, and that's totally cool. But there's some people, I guess, who I've noticed out there about this movie that, like, if they love it or they hate it, then it's not like you can listen to everybody else's opinion. It's like, if you hate it, you think everybody else should hate it too, but you're not like that. I know.
I don't feel that way.
Yeah, but there's some people out there.
Star Wars
has
always been. Star Wars and Star Trek have always been super polarized.
Yeah.
There's not much of a middle ground.
Yeah.
And you agree. The people that love it think everyone should love it and don't understand why people say that sucked.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm middle of the road on both. I can take them or leave them.
Yeah.
This one was actually the first one I've seen in the theater since The Empire Strikes Back.
Good for
when
you.
I was a kid.
Well, you missed nothing in the 90s. Nothing at all.
And it wasn't until I started hanging out with Dave that I even actually watched any of them. Like,
Yeah.
I just kind of let them go, and then
So it's my
totally
fault.
See that. Well, there's a lot of genre stuff that I even all the superhero movies nowadays, I would have loved that stuff as a kid. These days, I don't really care. It's if an opportunity comes up to watch it, it comes on Netflix or something, and if there's nothing else, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But I am not going to go to the theater. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to make any effort to actually see it
Right.
because I just don't really care.
Right. But yeah, I could, I definitely, like I said, I could see when you walked out. There was definitely there was another thing that you had mentioned that I about the movie.
Oh, the drinking game.
The drinking game.
Yeah.
You got to hear this.
I'm all for it.
Well, you haven't seen every Star Wars film,
No.
but of the ones you've seen, there's one word that I'm guessing you've never heard mentioned, because I don't think I've ever heard it in any context whatsoever. And that word is fuel.
No.
And that word shows up in this new movie. I don't know how many times, but I heard the word fuel so many times, I literally said, give me a beer. Give me something to drink.
We're going to run out of fuel. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought they could go forever.
And it goes, well, they always have.
Exactly.
They've never stopped for gas. Yes. Even when the Millennium Falcon was jacked up in like the second movie, It wasn't because they were out of fuel. It's hyperdrive something, I don't know, but fuel. Next time you watch the movie,
yeah, I just figured they ran on some little crystal or something that was infinite.
I don't know.
Well, and like I told him, that he definitely should watch it again as a drinking game, because the part where he walked out, they mentioned fuel probably about
I remember you saying that
7 or 10 more times at least in the movie.
Well, I do want to see the Yoda puppet. I'm super happy to hear that it's a puppet again.
Yeah.
That he's a puppet again.
Yeah, it definitely,
as opposed to a digital abomination.
It definitely will, but a lot more powerful as a Force Ghost. But anyway, so we'll go on about that, and but that's the thing though. That's one of the things, I guess. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, and way before you even started, your career path, toward being, to working on movies. We've always enjoyed talking about the latest movies out and those kind of movies that we, Star Wars and things like that.
Yeah.
As we were growing up, and that's what I really. That's why we, a lot of times we do, like we did a special a couple of weeks ago on our favorite 3 Christmas-themed horror movies.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So
We did Gremlins.
Yeah.
A Christmas Horror Story that came out in 2015.
Okay.
And then the Black Christmas remake, which I actually...
the remake.
The remake, I people argue with me all the time, but I really love the remake. I don't even like a lot of remakes.
But do you know the director of the original Black Christmas? Do you know what other Christmas movie he directed?
No.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Oh, no
Really?
way.
It's the same director. He also directed Porky's.
Awesome.
Same director did all 3 of those films.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, maybe that's why the one kid got into porn then from A Christmas Story.
Which one?
Oh, who was it? Oh, I'm going to have to look it up now. Maybe...
the kid with the tongue on the pole.
I still don't know how they did that.
I think
Really?
maybe it was
Especially in
maybe
the
it was the little
70s.
kid that had all the clothes on.
Yeah,
But,
the
one of them
kid who couldn't get up when he
yeah,
fell down.
one of them went straight into doing porn.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, we all have to do that for a few years. Oops.
Bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow. Exactly. So, good luck explaining that one. You just sit and watch it on New Year's Eve with your companion.
Companion. Carefully worded there, Mr. Abrams.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I mean, Anthony.
Compadre. Whatever. It works either way. People know I use my middle name. That's okay. So, but it's only when you have independent wrestlers on that that go by different names than their real name, and that's hilarious.
That was an early episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. And like the first thing out of her mouth was, "Hey, his real name," and he just like looked at us like,
What have you done?
No, exactly.
Where's the edit button?
We pull back the curtain. The mighty powerful laws. Oh, goodness. So what you got?
It's really not like your area, I guess, but I need maybe an insider's opinion. When they're shooting shit with people holding cups, why are they always fucking empty? That just annoys the living shit out of me. Because you obviously know that the cup is empty, and they're taking a sip, and they're walking all around and moving their hands, and there's never any liquid in the damn cup. And
I've never noticed that they're
shit out of me.
always empty. I noticed
not every
that the
movie's like
level
that.
can change.
Yes, that too.
But you got to look at it this way. Say we're shooting a scene between you and I, and we each have a glass with a drink in it. So first, they're going to maybe put the camera up there. They're going to shoot a wide, 2-shot with both of us. As the scene goes on, we're drinking or whatever. Then they're going to go over your shoulder and shoot me. Then they're going to go over my shoulder and shoot you. And then they might do some cutaways. So that's all going to take maybe half a day.
All right.
Now, you do have a continuity person with a script who's trying to make notes, but it's practically impossible to maintain a level. It's the same when they're smoking cigarettes or when they're eating food.
Yes.
You'll see it jumping all over the place. And there might also be, even if they've done perfect continuity, there may be a section of that scene that they later cut out right in the middle. So everything is going to jump and get weird.
Yeah.
Now, if George Lucas was still doing movies, he would go in and correct the level of fluid and everything, and food on the plate, and smoke in the air, and all that stuff.
I don't know why. It's like it's always coffee is the thing. It's just with the little nipple cap on the top, and it's just so obvious that it's empty because they'll be talking and their hand will twist, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's true.
You should be
There's
spilling
no
coffee.
Yeah.
Loki needs to drink that nipple thing a little slower. Can you do it again this time with more intensity? That's it.
Well, it's funny. I saw a thing. It was actually the H.P. Lovecraft guys did a trailer for one of their movies. And there's a prop that's a big stone. It's a big piece of rock. Mm-hmm. And when I saw the trailer, I thought they had made it out of something super lightweight because it looked to me like the guy just picked it up and tucked it under his arm. And then I saw it. And it was actually really heavy, and they were talking about how much the actor was complaining about how much it weighed. And I was like, well, so much for my my perception, because it looked like it was made out of foam core.
Yeah, because you see that all the time in explosions too. Like a big chunk of concrete will just bounce off somebody's shoulder, and they just brush it off. But you're like, dude, that would have just blown your shoulder straight.
Yeah, caved your head in.
That's funny. That's funny. So I guess let's because I know you've done some more things since then. Is there anything else that you can think of that you can talk about, or
what came
from
up on
TV
IMDb?
shows to
yeah, like I said, this year was a lot of Westworld.
Now that was season 1, right?
No, season 1's been out.
Right. So you worked on
season 2.
Season 2, not season 1.
Yeah,
okay,
we did season 2, and that's HBO. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of violence and sexuality and that sort of thing. It's not like CBS.
Oh, Fan-O-Rama.
Oh yeah. We did that.
Futurama? It won't open, of course.
It's a live action Futurama. You can see the whole thing on YouTube.
Nice.
Because it was made by a guy who's a big time collector. Mm-hmm. He's got original RoboCop suits, and he's got all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow.
And he's got enough money that he was able to produce this thing, and by virtue of like a recommendation, I was asked to come in and look at what they were doing for the Leela character, because it was going to be a prosthetic and one big eye and all this, and kind of lend my opinion on, improving it or whatever.
Right.
And then somehow I inherited the whole thing. So we did Leela. We did a little nose for Fry. We did a nose for a few other characters. We did the whole Professor Farnsworth makeup.
Very cool.
Nice.
And then there was a break, and I wasn't able to go back for the end of it when they did. Who's the guy with the?
I can't think of his name.
The pink guy.
No, you're talking about
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
didn't do him. But yeah, that was crazy. It was super low budget. I was working in a shop that was literally half the size of this studio, which meant if we were doing live casting, which is a messy process, we would have to do live casting, then change the whole room over to now it's a sculpting room.
Oh, wow.
And then if we're doing makeup, we're shooting that day, then all that sculpting and molding crap has to go away, and now it's a makeup room. It's like, it was crazy, but yeah, I was pretty happy with what we did.
Yeah, now with that, with the eye, did you have to, or were you able to, could she see, or was the prosthetic on she was blind?
She could see a little bit. I wasn't able to redesign the thing from scratch. So the understructure had already been built, which means it was a fiberglass cap that fit on her, and then a fiberglass piece here that actually held the eye. The eye couldn't move. That was done digitally. The brow couldn't move. The lid also couldn't blink. There wasn't enough clearance without bringing it way out to here.
Right.
And we wanted this to be her own face.
Right.
Yeah.
So with only a little bit of depth to work with and an eye this big, you really can't you can't build a mechanism. There's just no room. It's going
Right.
to crash into her face.
Right.
So, but we were able to do a brow thing. So it was basically this cap would go on her first. The eye was held in place with a magnet. The eye was here, so she could sort of see out of the corners of each eye, just enough.
Kind of like around it.
Sort of literally out of the corners of it.
Wow.
You know, like two little peepholes.
Yeah.
But she didn't have to do a whole lot of action. There's a little bit. And then there was a whole silicone piece that went on over that and had to blend along here so that it was more or less invisible. She had a little nose. And then we dyed her hair purple, and the front was her hair, or was the back her hair? The back was her hair, and the front was a hairpiece that blended onto the silicone forehead and then mixed into her hair, so it looked like all one big head of Leela hair.
Nice.
Wow. That's so cool.
And then, yeah, I ran the remote control that moved her brow, you know, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
to go along with her, because she's kind of an angry character a lot of times.
Yeah.
She's not too happy all the time. That's for sure.
Yeah, but the whole thing's on YouTube for free. You know, the guy knew he couldn't make any money off of it. He basically did it as a passion project because he loves
Right.
the show. And I know Matt Groening really liked it, but Matt Groening does not own Simpsons.
Right.
Comedy Central owns it.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then I think it was Spectral Motion that did Bender. And Spectral Motion has done like all the Guillermo del Toro's movies. They did the Hellboy movies, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, did you say Comedy Central owns The Simpsons?
I think so. Who runs it? Or who airs it?
Is it Fox, maybe?
Well, maybe it's Fox that owns it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
So
Well, does Fox own Comedy Central?
soon to be
Shit, they
Disney.
might. I mean, Disney's
Yeah,
Disney
right?
fucking owns everything now. So
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
they
they
still
own
gotta go
the
through
Alien franchise.
Yeah.
They own so many.
Yeah.
So many now.
maybe we should contact Disney and see if they want to buy us out.
Hey, there's an idea.
Yeah. They don't have that 2 cents to spare.
Well, I tell you what, sometimes when you work for Disney, you'd think that's the case.
Right.
They're not exactly generous in the pay scale.
Well, you know, when you have that in your hand is so much stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not making excuses for them or anything like that. But I mean, my God, can you imagine trying to keep up with fucking payroll for a company like that to make movies, to the parks, to all these other sub.
So the solution is just pay people less?
That's exactly.
This is so much less paperwork than if we paid them
You know
properly.
what? We had Dave on the show, and all he was doing was whining about his pay.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
So, yeah.
I'm just playing, man. But I'm still. I mean, it's daunting. It seems like to run a company that size. Is basically what I'm saying.
I'm sure it is, but I mean, it's. I think Disney has broken down into many. You know, Lucasfilm is still
Lucas
a company.
right?
It's not George Lucas's company, but
Right.
it's a company under the umbrella of Disney, just like Touchstone and all these other.
Yeah. And
Everything else
and
that
I
they own
assume probably Fox will probably stay Fox at least to a degree, because I don't know that they would want a Deadpool R-rated under the Disney umbrella. I wouldn't think, or
Well,
maybe the Marvel.
same thing with the
umbrella.
Alien movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are they gonna do with
Yeah,
the xenomorphs? That's scary. Is it just gonna disappear
show
now?
up with a little.
I mean, they've had Disney's had R-rated movies through like Touchstone you were talking about, released through
Well, that
those
was
companies.
that was the purpose of that. I think one of the first Touchstone movies was Splash,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
where you saw her butt at one
Yep.
point, and they started kind of pushing the envelope a bit. But I don't know that has Touchstone actually done R-rated stuff. They probably have at this point.
I think they've done a few.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're actually, but nothing that's, there isn't, I don't think of any R-rated movie that's actually Disney. I mean, I think the first like PG-13 was something like The Black Hole or something like that, and it was
I
just
don't
because
know,
it was so
man.
dark.
I
If you
think
go back and look at all the real Disney like cartoons, some of that shit's evil as hell.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
the time we lived in back then.
yeah. There's some pretty scary stuff in it.
Yeah.
I think PG-13 was created for the third Indiana Jones movie,
Yeah, you're right.
or maybe Poltergeist, but it was right in that
Mm-hmm.
time period that PG-13. It was definitely a Steven Spielberg influence. He got
Yes.
it pushed through
Yep,
because
yep.
the MPAA I think had resisted it for a long time, saying we've got all we need.
Yeah. But, I mean, luckily they did go through because some of those movies are fantastic. You know, and I would hate to see them even more toned down.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, some of the movies, you know, it's like, is it, you know, the times we live in, you know, would you have made a movie, you know, would you make a Song of the South today? No, you would not.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that movie, you know, but that's my point.
At all. There was a movie that I saw the other day that was, it was a perfect example of that. It was like, how did this film ever get made? Because it's, for people like us, it would be a good entertaining film.
Yeah.
But it's so bizarre that you're like, how did people who actually put up the money agree? And this is going to be so anticlimactic because now I can't remember.
Can't remember the movie?
What film it was.
That's all right.
But it was good, so trust me.
We'll trust you. Oh, shoot. So, looking at his IMDb, what else you got there?
The Evil Within. And I just see Michael Berryman, and that's just, you know.
Oh, The Evil Within. This, that's a movie that we actually did back in like 2007.
Whoa.
When did they do the, I remember K&B was gearing up for the first of the Narnia movies.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
I was
yeah.
working on this little low budget thing. This was done by a guy named Andrew Getty of the Rich Gettys. There's this new movie that's come out where they cut out Kevin Spacey and they put in Christopher Plummer.
Oh, yeah.
This story is about when one of Getty's sons was kidnapped in Italy. And the ransom people contacted him and said, we want however much. And he said no. And they cut off his ear and mailed it to him. And he still said no. And they cut off something else and mailed that to him. And finally, well, the guy who directed this was the brother of that guy who got kidnapped.
Wow.
And this guy was weird. He was really weird. He had this whole thing where he wore the exact same. And he was rich, crazy rich. He had a house up in the Hollywood Hills where we shot most of this thing. Wore the same outfit every day, like a blue button-down, very expensive shirt, black jeans. Didn't like anyone behind him at any time. Was very sort of kind of spoke like this and kind of didn't really have a lot of good social skills with other people.
Whoa.
And that movie went on and on and on, and finally it died. And most of us went on to do, you know, real projects.
Right.
You know, kind of were like, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't hear a thing about it forever. And then finally, my buddy sent me a text and said that Andrew had died. He was found in his home dead.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know what happened, if it was, I don't know. Don't know. But I think the estate finally gathered up what there was in existence of this movie and put it together and put it out. But yeah, Michael Berryman was in it.
Wow.
Who's the guy who played young Indiana Jones? That guy was in it.
Wow.
The dude that went fucking crazy and watched all his movies at once.
Are you talking about
He goes by 3 names.
the one that was in the most recent Indiana Jones movie?
No, the TV young Indiana Jones.
Right, okay.
The TV show. No, not.
I was thinking of fucking.
Yeah, you're
No,
thinking
not
of a
the guy
different
who died
His
on the
son.
sidewalk in Hollywood. Not that dude. No, this is like something Anthony or Anthony something or anyway, that guy's in it. Dina Meyer, who was in
We're gonna get a lot in the comment section. It's gonna be about
Troopers.
You guys don't know this is such and such and such. and
Yeah,
such."
exactly.
But that's okay. Fill it up. Fill up the
you
comment
guys
section.
don't know anything. That guy doesn't work on movies. He's making up all this crap.
Sean Patrick Flannery
That's the one.
There you go.
from. Is he the one?
He was young Indiana Jones on the TV show.
And he was in Boondock Saints too, right?
Yes.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, that's
that
the same
like
dude.
lost weight and looked completely different after his plastic surgery.
I don't know about that. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, he went.
You got
from,
me on that one too.
He went from the first Boondock Saints looking normal. The second Boondock Saints came out, and it was obvious that
Oh, I didn't see the second
like
one.
he went to fucking some third world country and got some plastic surgery done and jacked his face all up, and
Wow.
his manager said it just was due to major weight loss.
Yeah. A lot of times that'll take your nose from here and put it over here.
Yeah, and
Picasso it.
and his cheeks got real big, and I was just
Yeah.
like, "Holy crap, dude! That's not."
Too
weight
bad he
loss.
did that because, I mean, he was a good-looking guy in the day.
He
you know?
was.
Yeah. Well.
So,
But it's the same thing that the actresses do. Like
Yeah,
all
same
these
thing
super
that,
pretty ladies like go and then turn themselves into weird like cat aliens, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you were so
same
pretty.
as Mickey Rourke.
Oh yeah, for
Because I
real.
talked to a makeup artist who shall remain nameless, but did a lot of movies with Mickey over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I had heard the rumor that the reason Mickey's face got messed up was because he had a boxing career for a while.
That's what I heard too.
And this guy said, no, I was working with him during all that. He goes, all those matches were basically like wrestling matches. They were staged.
Right.
You know, either he was going to win or he was going to lose, but nobody was really pounding his nose sideways.
Right.
Right.
It was botched plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm never going to work again.
Yeah.
Especially if Disney buys you guys. Because they own everything.
Well, I'm in for like $20 and a case of zombie dust. So
You are so cheap.
Or
$20 and a case of zombie dust.
there's some
Zombie dust is
plenty of
is
the
a beverage.
elder,
Oh.
that's out there where you are that never comes out this way.
What's that?
Plenty of the elder, good craft beer from California that will never make its way out here.
Not unless I bring some this time next
Hey,
year.
oh,
Yeah, all right. Write that
I don't know
down.
that one.
Podcast next year.
Where's it brewed?
I forget who did it.
So see, there's the
Who did
disappointment
it.
right there.
See, I fucking drink too
Just-
much,
Again,
man.
in the notes, these guys don't even drink beer. I bet it's tea in those bottles.
I'm drinking water because I'm driving in a few minutes.
This time,
That's funny. Well, that's true. Sometimes I do drink beverages.
last time we had like 14 shots of some fucking honey flavored whiskey.
We
Wow.
had some Evans. I got some in the kitchen. We'll hook you up before you leave. Anyway,
I try not to do any driving these days without at least 3 drinks in me. Because cut this off.
yeah, quick.
Cut that out.
Oh, no. We got
It knocks,
edit.
it knocks down the anxiety of all the other crazy drivers. It makes me more relaxed when I drive.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, please. I'm just kidding.
Now, he drives in L.A. Do you can imagine what it's like there?
Oh, man. I remember when you came to visit one time.
Holy
and
shit.
I don't know if you're still this way, but you are one of the worst
Backseat,
passengers. Well, you weren't like telling me how to get places
No,
or use
I
your
was
turn
just-
signal or whatever. But it's like he's sitting in the passenger seat. And, granted, we're on an 8-lane freeway and we're doing 50, 60 miles an hour. But I've done this for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And David's just like, he's putting on his phantom brake.
Air brakes.
Like, if this was just a driver's ed car, I could have a little more control. And I was actually I wasn't trying to torture him, but it was just like, wow, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a good passenger. But luckily he put up with me. Thank God.
That was all good.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You guys need to do a show in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days.
You can
We've done.
teleport me there without getting me on a plane.
Yeah, just
Whatever. We'll
Yeah,
get you, pass you
it's-
out drunk.
it's never
Yeah,
as
real.
big a deal and expensive as people think.
Nah, it's really
If not, if you kind of look into it and do your research, and you'd have a place to stay. I've got a back office that could just pack up this gear,
Yeah.
set it up there,
Sweet.
do a few LA
That would be nice.
podcasts.
Maybe you get some of your friends to come over and be like on the show,
I
huh?
don't see why not.
There you go.
I don't
There you
see
go.
why not.
I'm gonna give you an extra card so you can give to your friend Greg Nicotero to do a Skype interview. What? Just kidding. What?
Greg Nicotero.
Yeah.
You have-
That's and funny. The thing is, Louis Chaney when he was on here with Neil,
Yeah.
and he's like, you ought to get Dave to talk to Greg for you, and I'm like. Greg? He's like, Greg Nicotero. I was like, I'm not gonna ask Dave. Hey, Dave, buddy, can you just go up to Greg Nicotero and say, hey, there's this guys I know, and they would like you on your podcast.
You know what? He would actually do your podcast if you guys went to Peachtree
Yeah.
and if the timing worked out.
Right.
Because I do know Greg is a pretty busy dude. He usually directs the first episode, the mid-season episode, and the final episode.
Yeah.
He's also a producer on it.
Yeah.
He does stay pretty crazy busy, but if the timing worked out and you guys were there, he actually would probably do it. Because Greg loves to hear himself talk.
There you go. We give him
doesn't?
a forum. We give him a forum to talk all he wants to.
But Claire, my girlfriend Claire knows him a lot better than I do. She's worked for K&B for 20 years.
Well, I'll get you another card. And no, I'm just kidding. It's like, that's
Got
too
3,
funny. Yeah, that's, one for Greg, one for. Now, but yeah, then that's the one that's in Atlanta, right? That's when he's down there shooting.
Peachtree, south of Atlanta.
I said we can drive that. You don't have to fly. We can just drive there.
6 hours.
There you go.
I drove it.
That's I'll just get really, really, really drunk and don't even tell me we're getting on a plane. Just take me to the airport, and then I'll wake up in California, and you can be like,
you said,
"Ta-da!"
just drive it. When I did Stand Against Evil down there first season, they had a rental car for me when the show wrapped. I just asked them to extend the rental agreement, and I would pay the difference, and I drove up here.
Nice.
It was 6 hours.
That's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
spent a few days, and then I had to drive back down there to catch my flight home. But,
Yeah.
Peachtree's not that far from Owensboro.
No, like you said, about 6
Georgia's
hours.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 hours.
All right. Well,
But see, I've been in the passenger seat with.
Do you do this?
Yeah. So.
what do you mean?
And that's just I
Like
think
an angel.
the furthest I've driven with him is to Evansville. So yeah. So that was 30 minutes of me going, shit.
You survived. You're here, aren't you?
Because he likes to mess with his phone while he drives,
No,
and that
I
scares
do
the
not.
living shit out of me.
I do not text and drive. That's bad. No text and driving.
What's the law on that here? Because I
He's
see a
saying
lot
lies.
of people on their phones here in Owensboro.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Is it?
Yes.
Is
Wow,
it?
I wouldn't have
Yes.
guessed it.
Well, it doesn't fucking look like it because you're guilty of that shit.
I
And
am not.
And I'm sure this is where this white stripe of gray came from. Was like 3 trips to Evansville.
All right, fine.
I got makeup crap over in the garage. I can take care of that.
Now you can drive, right? So you drive, and
I
I'll ride
will
with
drive.
you. All right. So
Yeah.
you drive. We'll go to Atlanta, and I'll
Feel a
just.
little better.
You guys need like a band van
That's
totally
it.
do.
that's got like a
Hell
little
yeah.
studio in the back.
Oh, that'd be the best.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yes.
Would be so like creepers.
All this stuff would actually be mounted from the ceiling, so you could do a really small table.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we could do this.
Drive around the country.
Hey, you
We've
want to
done-
get in
we've-
my van and talk for a little bit?
Are you about a 5? What?
Walmart lets me park here for free.
That would go over great.
That would go over wonderfully.
Don't you hurt my precious.
Oh my goodness. Got derailed. So we were talking about your the you also worked on, I think, season 1, correct me if I'm wrong, of Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was shot in Canada.
Zealand.
No, in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Auckland, New Zealand.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And you worked on that for season 1, and that's now available on Netflix.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Season 1
I
and
haven't
2.
seen any of it. They invited me back for season 2, and they actually offered my girlfriend Claire a job as well, because she does this stuff as well. They offered to bring us both over, but the timing just wasn't right for season 2, so
Right.
didn't
Other
do it.
projects, other things you had
Yeah.
to work on. Yeah.
And it's a
Understandable.
it's a long way to go for
Right.
you got to kind of balance it and see. Some years, like right now, I'll go back on Thursday. I don't have a job. I'm completely 100% unemployed.
Wow.
Until the phone rings or I call somebody and say, hey, I'm available. You got anything? But then other years, there's like 2 or 3 things. So you have to try and go, well, this is good for this reason. And this is good for, this one pays more, but this is a cool location, or they might both suck.
Right.
You just
right.
try and pick the lesser of 2 evils.
Right.
But,
So if you had to make that city decision of this one pays me more, but I'd rather do this one that's cooler.
Yeah, well, something I learned from Dick Smith a long time ago. He said if you ever get a job that you don't really want to do, ask for the moon. He said either way you can't lose. If they give it to you, you can cry all the way to the bank. If they turn you down, they must be thinking, wow, this guy is pretty good if he can ask for that kind of money.
Right.
So, and then you don't have to do it because you didn't want to do it to start with. So,
Now, have you ever incorporated that technique to a degree?
I don't often have that opportunity, to be honest with you. There was one time, I think I told you guys this on the last podcast, the Radio Shack spot with Howie.
Yeah.
They called other people first, and by the time it got to me, there was almost no time left. And I told them, I said, guys, this is going to cost a lot of money because I've got to work overnight. I've got to hire a bunch of other people just to get this done by Tuesday or whatever.
Right.
And they were like, that's okay, because we do 8 of these spots every year, and we can do 3 of them where it's just Howie and Terry sitting in a room talking, where we don't have to pay for anything except the 2 of them.
Right.
And this can be our expensive one. And I was like, okay, great. They literally said money's not an option. I was like, well, I'll never hear this again. And I never have.
Yeah.
But on that one time, and I know they got nervous toward the end of it because I was building this stuff out of my garage, and a couple of days before shooting, I don't know what happened that made them nervous. Maybe it was something I said, or maybe it was just because the deadline was getting close, but they literally sent like the art department guy over to my garage to look at what I was doing, you know, and he was like, oh, okay, this is going to work. And he reported back, yeah, it's all right.
That's funny. That's funny. You have, I guess, a little studio. You still have that same place where you had the studio? Okay, because you had,
Yep.
I guess it was a studio in the garage. Was
Yeah, it's like a little work area, but, you know, we live in a duplex, so the folks on the other half of the house have a lot of stuff stored in the garage as well.
right.
So it's kind of a crowded workspace. It's hard to do an actual job out of it unless
Right.
it's like a nose or something really small.
More storage than workspace.
Yeah, a little bit of workspace, but small things. You know, I
Yeah.
couldn't do a monster suit out of there.
Right.
Or anything that requires a lot of space. And,
Right.
you know,
So were you guys safe from all the crazy wildfires going on out there?
Yeah, we were. We actually had, because Claire's from Ireland, we had people from Ireland asking. We have friends in Australia. They were texting us. But yeah, we were far away from all of it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's got family out there, so you know they've been evacuated, and they got to go back in, and then they got evacuated again because their grandpa's already on like some breathing machines. So
Yeah,
with all
had
the
to get him out of
smoke
the
and
smoke.
everything, he had to go, and so it was scary. And
Yeah.
I think it's still going on too, isn't it? And this stuff's still burning.
Some places.
When I
believe.
left a few days ago, they said it was 50% contained, but it was still, I mean, at its peak, they said it was the size of New York. It was the area,
That
the
is
same size as
insane.
New York. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. And, I mean, we had a really, really hot summer, hottest one I remember in a while. And, you know, say what you will about politics and climate change and all that stuff, but I see how it's changed since I moved to California. It used to be, because I moved there in January. January, it rained all month.
Yeah.
It rained into February for a bit, and then it pretty much quit for the year. You'd have the odd shower here and there, but it's like that was the rainy season. And then for 10 years, literally the last 10 years or so, there was nothing until this year. This is the first time I saw it really rain and do what it used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's what we're doing or if it's a natural, cyclical
Right. Right.
thing, but it's going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets any better.
That sounds like
It's
a
what
movie
we're
line.
doing, man. I'll say it. I mean,
I think it is too.
there's only so many people that can fit on this little ball of dirt, man, and people just keep popping out babies left and right, and they need to quit that shit.
Yeah, well.
Thank God you made it out.
Oh,
Just saying.
I'm off the hook. I was cloned.
Oh shit.
We're gonna run out of space and stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or you gonna stay at Dave's. He's got a room in the back.
Well, yeah.
What else we got on IMDb?
I don't have any kids. What else we got on IMDb?
I think that was
Let's
it.
change the subject. I'm just kidding. No, because
That's probably about it since 2015.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think there was much else on there.
So, is there any other projects that you're looking into? I mean, necessarily tell us what they are, but I mean, as far as like things that you've been put out for, or you've reached out for, or whatever.
I was contacted by a producer that I know about a low-budget monster movie, and he just asked me to send him a bunch of photos that he could share with his creative team, just to kind of show him what kind of work I've done. But I haven't heard a thing back about that. If that happens, it might be the beginning of next year.
Cool.
I mean, this year, seeing as it's New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, exactly. Hey, so smart.
Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, they're always doing the Marvel stuff in Georgia.
Yeah.
So when that gets busy, fortunately, a lot of times I'll get a call, go down there for a bit. Same with Walking Dead. Go in and out on that from time to time.
So you've worked on that several times, I guess.
A few times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on their heavy, big days, go down for a few days.
Yeah.
And that's always cool because a lot of times I can go down with Claire on that. We'll both go down doing zombie makeups.
That's nice.
And then, if there's any luck, Stand Against Evil will get picked up for the summer, and that'll probably happen around June or July, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I guess we can go. Well, go ahead. You have something?
Oh no, I'm just.
All right. So we can go back a little bit and talk about some of the projects you've done in the past. I mean, because you've worked on a lot of things, and like to me, a movie like No Country for Old Men was a movie you worked on that was up for an Academy Award and won several awards. Go ahead.
I think we randomly talked about this for some reason on our Christmas episode. Did the dude die at the end?
In the No Country for Old Men?
The
Sugar?
the
I'll have
bad
to
guy,
watch
the
it
cop, because he was in the hotel, and you heard the gunshot.
Josh Brolin?
Yeah.
Well, you see him kind of splattered all over the floor.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Which the first time I saw it, I didn't actually realize it was him.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't think I realized it was him.
Visually, it doesn't connect as well as something in a Coen Brothers movie should. But I'm pretty sure that was him.
Okay.
And he's like blown away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gone.
All right. Well, then there we go. Explanation.
That was it. Thanks for coming in. But no, working on a movie like that. So what was something like that like? I mean, what's some of the effects you had to work on?
I didn't actually work on it that much.
Really?
That movie
Yep.
was right after I got into the. Yeah, why not?
This is what we call real podcasting.
That movie happened right after I got into the makeup union, which meant
Right.
suddenly the doors had opened to me to be able to work on a lot of big shows that before I couldn't.
Right.
So a friend of mine was keying the effects for that. He called me. He was already in New Mexico or Arizona, wherever they shot that.
Mm-hmm.
So I sculpted some pieces for him and then basically worked on the whole gig at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Where the sheriff captures Anton Chigurh,
Uh-huh.
takes him to the police station. He puts his handcuffs over his neck, and they fight on the floor, and he strangles him, and his, blood flies out.
Right.
And there was a lot of concern how to do that and make it look realistic and also make it safe. So we literally built a hard plastic, a fiberglass shell, front and back, that covered this guy's torso and closed up on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had metal pick points here that the handcuffs that the actor was wearing, the bad guy, could clip to. Then we put a silicone neck on the actor who's being strangled that was already sculpted to be indented. And we put a piece of fake chain across there, but it was putting absolutely no pressure whatsoever on his neck.
Wow.
It was sculpted to look like it was like this.
Right. Right.
But he's putting no pressure on his neck because his hands are actually clamped here on his chest. So he could literally just, and the guy being attacked was an actual stunt guy, so he could take it.
Yeah.
He could literally just throw this guy all over the floor. They could roll around the whole thing, and there's no way he's going to get choked because of the way we built the rig.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was complicated, but it worked out pretty good. So.
Yeah. But
that's
really
that's all I worked on set for was that.
Yeah. Well, still, that's the illusion that that you don't know, and then that's so cool. That's why we love movies and love this kind of stuff and love effects and stuff. And like I said, you got into it because like Dick Smith and some of the amazing work that he did.
Well, back in the 80s, Dick Smith, as his credit on a number of movies was Makeup Illusions.
Yeah.
By Dick Smith, because it was basically like they're like magic tricks in a lot of ways. How do they saw the girl in half, or how do they do things that it's sleight of hand and it's tricks.
Yeah.
It's illusions. So I thought you were going to get beers.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, I would totally go get beer, but I'm just not going to assume that.
No, as you were walking out, I went like this, and you nodded like, "Hey, I'm with you, dude."
I thought you were saying, "Yeah, you can drink."
Man, chop.
Wow, has this ever happened on a podcast before?
That's all right.
Where one of your guests is like, "More booze."
Yes.
Yes.
But usually it's Tony. But But no, that's funny. He's gonna bring you a beverage, and
I feel like such a jerk.
not at all. But no,
Hey, wait, I'm
with
still
you.
on holiday or on vacation.
Exactly. And I really, when you did shake the beer, I really thought that's, while he was out of the room, he was gonna grab that too. So
No way. I was just thinking while you were out there, you like, hey, thanks, dude.
I thought you were just like, yeah, beer got you. That's all I was like, yeah, beer got me. Been having this for like 10 minutes.
there we go.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Gave him an excuse to get himself another beer too. There you go.
I can't just like take beer.
You don't want him to
Right?
drink alone. That's right. I got to do some driving here, like in a little bit with my daughter, so that's
Gotcha.
why I'm
Nope.
not driving.
I am
drinking
not
at this
driving
point.
Owensboro Police.
No, he is not.
Yep, I'm not either.
Especially, and
It's a
when
good
you
thing
listen on,
Dad's house is walkable from here. It's so close.
and since a lot of people be listening to this on New Year's Eve, make sure that if you do become a little too intoxicated,
For real,
call
don't
a
drink
cab.
and drive. We're
Don't
just
drink and
kidding.
drive. Yeah,
How's Uber and Lyft here in Owensboro?
they are non-existent.
Lyft
okay.
is.
Lyft is now.
Lyft is?
Yes.
Oh yeah, a new
I saw a
part-time job
thing,
for
yeah.
Dave starting on Monday.
Well, it's like, because we rely on them like crazy
Yeah.
in LA. But when we were in Austin, there's a thing called Austin Ride or Ride Austin or something, because they don't, for whatever reason, they won't allow Uber and Lyft.
Right.
So they've got their own kind of crappy version of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about Owensboro because I've never.
So
I've
Lyft
never
is
done it
available.
here.
Yeah. There was
Well, there you
there was
go.
a poster at work that was giving out information if you wanted to be a driver, be a Lyft driver.
Okay.
Which I wish they'd bring Uber or Lyft, because I actually took an Owensboro cab one time. It was the scariest, dirtiest vehicle
Yeah.
I've ever ridden in.
Yeah.
I was not.
I think
too
I did
thrilled.
one time years ago, and it took them like 40 minutes to show up after I called them. And I was like, this is Owensboro. I could have walked to where I'm going in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So if
You
it
have to
is New
take a
Year's
bath before you came to get me.
Eve, definitely download the Lyft app and be safe. Yeah, that's
It was a minivan with the bumper half hanging off in the front. The dude was like, "You can't use that side sliding door. You got to come around the other side." And I was just like,
Oh, wow.
There's a body caught on that one.
I was like, "Do I really want to ride home with this guy right now?"
So was the driver's name Buffalo Bill, and he wanted you to help him get a couch in the back of his?
He didn't say. He did not say a single word to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to
I
you.
mean, when we got to where I was going, he just pointed at the meter.
Wow.
He was just like, I was like, "Oh yeah, well, here's my money. Let me out."
Yeah. Get me
Wow.
out of here.
Nice.
Wow.
So I wish we had Uber and Lyft.
Well,
But,
it sounds like it's on the way.
yeah.
So that's good.
So Lyft is here then.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be soon. I'm assuming.
Okay, so check the app before you go crazy. All right then.
That's right.
Or call a friend
Call a friend.
or Tony.
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah. I'll drive
Stay
you out
home.
somewhere.
Or stay home. Exactly.
That's even
get
better.
those little puppy things. Put your little hat on.
Yeah, so that's your big plans for New Year's, right? Yeah, that's it.
To be honest, that's probably exactly what we'll do is stay home.
Yeah.
Because I get back on the 28th. Claire's in Ireland right now because that's where all her family is. So
Right,
she's been
right.
going all over the place there.
Nice.
She'll get home on the 28th. She's going to be completely exhausted because it's like a 10-hour
No.
Oh,
trip
yeah.
home. So I think pretty much at our age, all of our friends just sort of stay home and,
Well,
generally tend to fall asleep before it's even, 3, 2.
Age, Dave, we're so young. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm close to your age, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So back to this Star Wars abomination.
Dave, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel. No, really, Dave.
So did you get
forget
to
that.
see
we've
the?
covered that.
Did you get to see the weird dude just lick the earth?
Do what?
Remember, they were in the foxhole and like the ground was red, and he's just like, salt.
Oh yeah.
No.
He
Like
didn't see
because
that
people
part.
just randomly
He was-
lick the dirt
he was
because
out at
it's
that
what
part.
No,
people fucking do.
I got to see Princess Leia do this through space.
Her Mary Poppins.
Yeah. Spoonful of sugar helps the Jedi fly.
That was about number 5 out of the approximately 9 that it took before I physically walked out. But it was Ray force texting or whatever.
Skyping.
Dude's got his shirt on. Could you put his shirt on? I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yes,
I don't feel like my childhood's been raped. they've not done anything that George Lucas didn't already do with the original movies. So it's all good, but it's like I'm just not.
Yeah.
I actually know someone in LA who has a copy of it on DVD because they got it as a screener.
Yeah. That time of season.
Yeah. So when I get home,
You are going to watch it.
yeah, I might try to watch it again on somebody else's TV just in case I get furious and want to break something. Then I won't be smashing my own. But
Well, when you do, text me. Let me know.
I will. I'm just happy to know Yoda's a puppet again, as God intended.
He is. That he is.
Yeah.
Yep. And everybody's like listening, going, I haven't seen the movie yet. Well, tough.
Listen a couple
Spoilers.
episodes back. There are spoilers.
Exactly.
So going forward, you're just shit out of luck.
Exactly.
Well, this is another little one that I think I probably told you guys last time we did this, but a friend of mine's young daughter had seen the 90s prequel movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed her Empire Strikes Back, and she said, Daddy, what's wrong with Yoda? He looks weird. And it was just like, if this were glass.
Yeah. Because it wasn't the Jim Henson puppet there, was it? Yeah.
Well, the Stuart Freeborn puppet,
Stu Freeborn puppet. You're right. That looks just like.
driven by Frank Oz.
There you go. It was good that they had Frank back.
Yeah.
So
Are they doing stuff with Dark Crystal? Because you were telling me Dark Crystal's coming to Netflix, right?
That's what they said. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a friend of ours, Claire's best friend, who used to work at Canby with Claire, doing a lot of fabrication, which is how they do a lot of the Muppet stuff. A lot of it's not sculpted and molded; it's built up out of materials.
Mm-hmm.
She went over to Henson's and worked on that. I didn't know it was Netflix.
Yeah, I think the Netflix is who picked it up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, like a 10-episode series.
Wow. Okay.
And then in February of next year, they're doing the limited theater run of the 4K restoration.
Of the original, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, if you guys ever get down to Georgia, like we were talking about earlier, in Atlanta, there is a big puppet museum, and they've got a ton of stuff. They've got a bunch of props and puppets from Dark Crystal, from Labyrinth.
oh, shit.
They've got an original Gumby and Pokey.
Oh, dude,
And
that's
then
cool.
they've got like puppets and marionettes from all over the world, all different time periods from China and Czech Republic and all these different places. And it's pretty awesome.
I would
just
love to see that, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
What's his face from Dead Silence?
Oh, Bob?
Bob.
Oh, man. Somebody bought Bob. Last time I saw Bob was at a Monster Palooza, and he was not in good shape.
Oh,
And didn't you
that's
work
sad.
on that movie as well?
Yeah, I built the Bob Gunton puppet, which, I mean, it really wasn't even a puppet. It's just a dummy that sat in a wheelchair. Didn't do much, but
Right.
I was super happy with it because we had a lot of time to really tweak it and make it really nice.
Yeah.
It looked great. I've actually shown people pictures of that dummy head, and they're like, that's not a dummy head. And I'm like, wow, I feel really good now because I fooled your ass.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, some collector bought it from the guy who did the effects on it, and I don't think it's been. It's been like kept on somebody's back porch or something. It was all dusty and crappy, and the eyes were like this,
sad.
you know.
Oh, wow. That is sad.
Yeah, but I always tell people that I work with who get pissy about stuff. It's like we're doing commercial art. If you want to do something and keep it pristine and beautiful for the rest of your life, do your own thing. Fund
Yeah.
it yourself. When
Yeah.
somebody else is paying for it, they own it. It's commercial art. If they decide to keep it in a hole in the ground,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of, I guess, some of the bigger studios, they seem to, at one time, they would like just unload the stuff. Like, we need to clear out some warehouses, and they just throw it away, burn it, get rid of it, and it's like, oh my God, some amazing classic,
Yeah.
things have just gone to the wayside. And then, it seems like some of the studios, as some of the value of certain things have crept out, that they're like, hey, we need to save this and put it in the warehouse and then put it on eBay. And there's a lot of different companies that actually sell used movie memorabilia and stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be a huge business.
Yeah, there's an outfit called the Prop Store that I bought some stuff from a few years ago, They were. Do you guys remember a movie called Greystoke, Legend of Tarzan?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Love that movie.
They had all these really cool ape suits, and I bought the understructure, like the fiberglass underskulls, because the foam rubber skin has long since rotted away.
Right.
But they were really clever in how they were built, because it's like the person inside would open their mouth and there would be little cords and little levers and things that would make the lips peel away from the teeth or make the nose do something funky or whatever. And I bought a couple of those when Rick Baker retired and like sold a ton of stuff. So they keep sending me these catalogs. And I brought one catalog home to give to Jeff because it was Paramount getting rid of a ton of the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
Costumes from the JJ movies and the different series, you know, weapons and props and costumes and all this stuff. So yeah, they, like you said, somebody's finally realized, hey, there's money to be made here from collectors, as opposed to just, this warehouse costs $60 a month. Let's just burn all this crap.
Yeah, and it was amazing that some of the stuff that did get destroyed and did get burned and thrown down. Yeah,
I've got this book.
I was going to say, I got that book, and it was so incredible about all the things that was in that book.
I have several friends who know Bob Burns, and I've been trying to get them to get me an invite to his house, but he's not been in good health for a number of years.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he really picks up, because there's videos on YouTube, too, of people just going down into his basement to look at the werewolf from American Werewolf.
War of the Worlds original props.
Yep.
I've seen those on when he did an interview, and I was just like,
yeah.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
my wife got me that book like 10 years ago, and I was just like, this guy has the coolest shit ever.
Yeah. I got that around the same time, probably when it first came out. I think he's got one of the original Kong armatures.
Yeah.
We'll put the link to that in our IMDb page.
Yeah, and I think he's got the Frankenstein boots. I think it said it had
wow.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of Rick Baker stuff, too, because when Rick Baker was a kid and just starting out, Bob Burns, he used to make his own gorilla suits. And Bob Burns, do you guys remember the Ghostbusters Saturday morning TV show?
I do.
Spencer Tracy and Kong. Bob Burns was the gorilla in that.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
And Rick Baker sculpted the mask, and it was Bob Burns' suit. Because he was like a Hollywood gorilla performer, which is how Rick Baker got to know him. And then, Rick started giving him stuff, masks from the original Star Wars and all this stuff, which is just like, whoa.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And it's amazing that much of that stuff survives because rubber, the elements and light and heat is not very kind to rubber. That stuff can all just break down real easily.
Right, especially when it's, I guess, made to be pliable and soft, and those kind of pieces that trying to make it look like your face when you move it.
Yeah.
That's even more, I guess, degradable, it seems like.
I think so. And it's just UV light is really unkind to organic materials of any kind. So, but I do have some pieces that I got a long time ago. In the 70s, they did a version of Island of Dr. Moreau. And they had like a boar man and a lion man and a
Now, was that the one with Michael York?
Yep. Michael York, Barbara Carrera.
Oh, yeah.
And who was the bad guy?
That was...
English actor.
Oh, it wasn't... what was the one when... No, I'm thinking...
I'm wanting to say Richard something, but don't remember.
Oh,
Were you thinking of the really bad one with Fruza Balk and...
No, that was the 90s.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
That was the one with Marlon Brando
yeah.
and what's his name? The bad Batman.
Yeah. But no...
Yeah.
Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Now, this was the 70s when I remember going to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
And a lot of the makeups were done very much like the Planet of the Apes because it was only like 10 years after that. So there'd be like a piece here and then a little chin piece.
Yeah.
But I have some of those that somebody gave me years ago, and I've kept them very carefully cloistered away from light and heat and all that.
Awesome.
And they're still, if you mess with them much, they're going to fall to bits. But
Right.
It's pretty cool to have a little slice. You look on the back of them, and it had scribed into the mold boar, so it's the boar man piece. And
Yeah.
Nice.
so that's kind of cool.
That is cool. And you I know you had a pretty good collection of live casts, and we had kind of talked about this before. Is any more pursuit in your endeavor to to do the live cast
Business?
Business, yeah.
I would like to. Unfortunately, since I first kind of thought about it, I've not had time to pursue it, to be honest with you.
yeah.
I've got a shop here that's fully set up for it.
Yeah.
And the idea was originally to maybe try and pick a couple of dates out of the year. Like maybe sometime in the spring and sometime in the fall. And people could put in orders and make an appointment and come in and either get, like 2 people holding hands or I did one of my nephew holding a baseball because he's really into baseball.
Very cool.
And then when I cast it up, I actually put the actual baseball back in the mold, but his hand was in stone. So it's like a stone hand holding a real baseball.
That's so cool.
Did one that was a a pregnancy cast. So did a torso of a gal, and she has like one arm over her breast and one arm under her stomach like this, and it's like from here down. But the thing is, just to put it together, I just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
It's which is a good thing. It means, we're working.
Right.
But I would like to do it because it's also something that could just help me fund coming home to visit family.
Right.
More.
Yeah.
More times a year because it's expensive.
It is.
It's the flight's expensive and taking time off work is expensive and just everything.
Right.
Everything to do with travel, it just costs a fortune. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's to be honest, me and Tony both. That's one of the things we were real appreciative of, that you took a little bit of time from being in town to be here with us on this podcast.
Oh, I've been wanting to do it. I wanted to do it even if we did it over Skype or whatever. It just again, it was like
sure
we would kind of text back and forth and be like, yeah, this is going to be good, and then it's like a week later. Oh man, we were talking about Yeah,
but it happens, and we totally understand. And
your text this morning came at a perfect time because it was like, yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to do while I was home. So can we do it tonight? Let's do it.
Dave texted me at work. I'm like, yeah, duh, I'm fine. I'm telling work I'm leaving. Of course I'm going to be there.
Yeah, because I'm leaving on Thursday.
Yeah,
so,
to get back.
Yeah. So tomorrow, see a little bit more family, and then take off on Thursday.
That's good. And you do have still quite a bit of family here, so and early in the area. I know your younger sister, I think she doesn't live quite in town, does she?
She's in Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, yeah. Okay.
So I saw them at my other sisters on Christmas, but I'm gonna go see those guys in Bowling Green again tomorrow, but almost everybody else is in Owensboro.
Yeah.
Did you make sure to eat at world famous Moonlight Barbecue when you were home?
Well, one of my aunts does Christmas Eve dinner at her house, and she used to always cook, but she's gotten older.
Yeah.
So now she just orders a bunch of food from Moonlight, and I go pick it up, and then we have Moonlight at her house. So yes, I did have Moonlight.
He's Mr. Anti-Moonlight because he likes Old Hickory.
You're an Old Hickory man.
Moonlight is just so bland. It just there's no.
We've talked about this twice on a podcast. Moonlight people are going to hate us. I like Moonlight. I love Moonlight. Moonlight's good.
Well, you guys can send Dave some.
Is he always this politically correct?
God, it's not politically correct. But
no controversy. Put that beer down.
No, not at all.
I'm teasing you, dude.
I know you.
I was actually surprised we got the burgoo, and it was spicy.
Ooh,
and I've never had burgoo's always just been kind of
bland. That's my issue.
I don't know if I would use the word bland, but it was never, because I don't really I don't do great with hot stuff.
Right.
But this was kind of just right.
Yeah.
It was just enough to have a little kick, bing, but not be like, give me some water.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd never been a fan of Moonlight.
Yeah.
I tried it multiple times because, you got to try things more than once. Mm-hmm. And it just never...
Except for Star Wars Last Jedi.
But you are going to see it again in the privacy of your own home where you can scream the top
I'm just going to see the end of it because I want to see new puppet Yoda.
That's too funny.
E.T.
E.T.
Yeah, as a little kid behind him kicking his chair. Look, Daddy, it's E.T.
Oh, man. I'd love to show you guys. Going back to Rick Baker again for a second.
Yeah.
Before they made E.T., there was a script in the works called Watch the Skies. And it was going to be a horror film with a whole bunch of ETs. Apparently, Spielberg he was finishing up Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he was like, I can't go into this evil thing again. I got to do something nice. So he's like, I want to redesign this and do, one special friendly alien who falls in love with a boy and they have children. No,
Whoa!
We need to see that version of E.T.
So Rick Baker had done all these really cool aliens, like a nice one and a mean one and a little kid.
They probably weren't touching fingers, though.
Oh, Lord.
I'll be right here.
Stop it, it tickles. A little Reese's Pieces, huh? All right, then. So as you were saying.
Well, if you look at Rick Baker on Twitter,
yeah,
you see these maquettes, these small sculptures that he did, because there were like 8 of them.
Yeah.
So there was a nice one and a mean one and a old one and a wise one and a female one and whatever. If you compare them to E.T., if you basically just chop off the top of the head and do a poorer sculpture, it's E.T.
Wow.
Because when they changed up the movie, he got fired because he was like, well, I got to start from scratch. And they were like, no, you've already spent a bunch of money. You're out. And they hired Carlo Rambaldi.
Wow.
This Italian guy who did... anyway. Look at Twitter. It's really interesting to see the side-by-side photos.
That is cool.
You should put a link to that.
I will put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Cool. And a link to, of course, your IMDb page. I have no idea where to go from here.
Yeah.
Screeching tires and shit on fire.
Maybe it's time we wrap this thing up.
I think so.
But definitely we're going to put your links to your IMDb and all that kind of good stuff on and the Cthulhu guys as well. We'll,
HPLHS.
Yes, we're going to put the link to them as well on there.
Cool.
People to check them out.
You can link to all my social media.
Yeah, exactly, which you don't ever do. No. And then
Me either.
But we are at outbreakpodcast.com, and that's where you find everything on Escape Pod and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, so
and if you want to be a Patreon and give us $1, like don't eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's, just give us $1. It helps out.
$1 a month does help out to have such great guests like Dave Snyder.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not getting paid for this. What's
and
going
it's
on?
good for your health to not eat McDonald's too. So we're just looking out for you.
That's why I did Burger King today.
And we do appreciate our Patreon.
Very much so. Thank you.
Exactly.
I'm going to Patreon you guys with some posters that don't suck. Those 2 are good.
Yeah, exactly. That's Star Wars, the Wizard of Oz. We got a lot of stuff in here. If you dig around and look, it's some.
Oh
it's
yeah,
some,
I know.
good stuff. So
No.
there you go.
Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I mean,
yeah, but he didn't do that one.
I don't even know which one that one is.
That's the newest
I don't
one.
either.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the teaser poster for the last one.
That's a cool poster.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's why it's sitting beside Mr. Brown there because he's cool.
Yeah, it's my home in the dirty, dusty corner.
The dirty, dusty. Gosh, we didn't talk about Blade Runner. That means I'm going to have to come back next month.
Blade Runner, yeah, that was good.
I liked it.
I did too. I liked it a lot. Loved the first one, and this new one was just.
Yep.
Did Han Solo die in that one too?
One last thing before you go.
Yeah.
Just you're talking about the Star Wars. So this guy, who we almost bought him a shirt that had
so close.
that had the crew of the Enterprise on it.
Which
with
one?
The top to the original.
The original.
Crew.
Okay.
On the bridge crew. Okay. But with the words crossed, Star Wars. But with the Star Trek people on it. Just because he knows it pisses people off because a lot of times even in the theater you sit down he's like well I hope Spock doesn't die in this one and sits down and everybody's like God.
Well, people were talking about porgs. I was like, see, I told you the Borgs are going to be here. Resistance is futile. Damn it.
Penguins are futile.
Porg on a stick.
Thing that
Yummy.
pissed me off. Well, the funny thing is, if you gave that T-shirt to my girlfriend,
Yeah.
she wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
And she works in this industry.
There you go.
She'd be like, well, I guess it's Star Trek. It says so on the shirt. And she proudly doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. We're gonna work on sending you one of our Escape Pod T-shirts one of these days.
Ooh, I like that idea.
There you go.
I do too.
There you go. You got one.
with my face on it.
Well, we can send him one of those too.
Just my face, no
Just your
words.
face, no words.
People be like, "Who the fuck is that?"
What number episode is this?
This is going to be 70.
70. God
no,
dang.
it is going to be 53.
53.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And your original episode was 9. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is like, and that was, like you said, 2015.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty good run.
That's
Pretty
not
good
bad.
run.
Not bad.
We're getting up there.
We're
We got a lot of work to do because I promised people 1,000 episodes.
so we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Who's been on the most episodes so far?
I would say.
It's a tie.
I was getting ready to say his real name. Scott Sexton, the
Yeah.
wrestler, has been on more than because he's been on 4.
Oh,
Wow.
oh yeah, that's right.
He
Yeah.
has been on 4. Yeah. So, and once was with somebody else. So
Yep.
What are you guys doing next week?
that's he actually did. He's already said hey, can I come on again? Sure, man. We'll work that
No,
out.
I meant me.
Yeah, you. Anytime you want to come on from LA, from wherever, we can Skype you in. Anytime you want to be
I'll
on.
come in made up as, what's the guy? Scott Sexton?
Oh my God.
God, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? That would be funny. I'll show you pictures of him afterwards.
Okay.
You may not want to do that. Love you, Scott. Jesus.
Well, maybe one of these years we'll get to do a Halloween episode.
That would be
Do some
fantastic.
crazy crap on everybody.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Love Halloween. That's my wedding anniversary.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can. We're definitely gonna. We'll talk more off there, but that definitely would be. I'd like to do a road trip to where we could maybe come down and see you when you're in Atlanta, and maybe even if we just hung out, went to dinner one night or something, Or,
Well, when it comes to the Marvel stuff, I couldn't get you anywhere
Right.
near that.
No,
when it comes to Stand Against Evil,
yeah,
I know everybody. I know the showrunner, the creator, Dana Gould. I know
that'd be
everybody.
cool.
So Lewis came down to visit.
yeah.
He stayed at my hotel, and I just said, hey, a buddy of mine's coming to set today. Is that cool? And they were like, yeah, of course.
Oh wow.
So,
Awesome.
and it's a 6-hour drive.
So let's hope season 3 happens. Just
It
so we can
should.
come
I
down.
mean-
It should. It's a great show.
It may have been announced at this point because it aired back in October, so they should know by now. But I just haven't. No one's personally told me.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Well, cool. Well, if we do come down and see, we'll bring some gear just in case. Just in case we can work some things out. And you give Greg her card.
We'll work on getting a van together.
I don't know about the van part.
A nice little studio van.
Tell you what. Tony, this has been a good day.
It's been an awesome day.
It has been.
Well, thanks for having me at the last minute.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on and being here.
Exciting.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Greg, drink up another beer.
That was a cough, not a laugh.
That was funny. The whole time he's got his fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Dave, for being on our podcast.
Thank you, Betta.
We really appreciate it. Don't forget to check us out at outbreakpodcast.com. If you want to message us, you can email us as outbreakpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, we do have a Patreon page. If you go to outbreakpodcast.com, click on the link for our YouTube page, or hopefully you're already watching it now, then you can definitely up at the top subscribe to our website, like videos that you do like. Check out some more stuff. Dave's early interview is on there. It's about a 2.5 hour interview, and apparently it's good to go to sleep to.
Does the trick for me.
And have our Patreons got my wonderful...
That's coming up for them soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
Patrons, be aware. So if you're a Patreon, you're
You
going to
get
get
some
some
bonus material.
ridiculous shit. And if you're not, you should just go ahead and sign up.
It's pretty
because
funny, and it's only
it's
$1, and it's a $1 a month, and helps us out, and you get all entertained by Tony's antics.
You get to
And
see
it'll
me look like
replace
an
these
idiot.
posters.
Exactly, so we can afford to. Please give now, so we can afford to replace these posters.
No child should ever be exposed to these posters.
Maybe we could get Dave Snyder posters that he's done movies on, and just
hey.
circles the room there. Of course, he's got to sign them all. Maybe get
We need the Arms of the Angel songs playing now.
and
I've got
a
some
Haunted Ween poster.
Some really, I don't know that a poster was ever made for Haunted Ween, but I have a couple of crappy ones at home in the garage that are just like rolled up in the back. There's a Buffy poster back there. And maybe some other like real garbage.
We're not going to hold you to anything. Dave, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, my
Thanks,
brothers.
man.
Thanks,
It was
guys.
awesome.
And thank you guys for listening. Have a happy new year, guys. Don't worry, me and Tony, going to be back with lots more episodes and some more crazy stuff coming.
Topless.
Thank you. I guess I need to hit the outro. Hey, and go.
And we're out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Escape Pod. If you enjoyed it, please like the episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you would like to be a part of future podcasts, then email us at outbreakpodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to visit our website, outbreakpodcast.com, for more episodes, show notes, photos, and other podcasts on the Outbreak Podcasting Network. That's outbreakpodcast.com.